Oh, it's live, pal.
Sorry.
We will ban you from the Summerfest.
Right here in the Silverdome.
Jeff Harvey.
And I have half the brain that you do.
Welcome to the Wrestle Hunks Podcast, a podcast where three hunks get together and discuss some of the very worst things you can find on the WWE Network, and the only podcast that won't have its main event match fall apart a week before its debut show. I'm your host, the Mordecai of Microphone, Brandon Marlow, and as always, I'm joined by the hunkiest hunk, Brody Price.
Good Brock Lesnar to you.
Yeah, well, it's always a good day when Brock Lesnar comes running out of nowhere to win a ladder match that he was never in.
It's the big gorilla lumbering down to the ring.
They can call him the Beast in the Bank, or the Monster in the Beast, or whatever the fuck kind of nickname they can give him, so that's good.
I saw WWE use on their Instagram hashtag Brock in the Bank, and that's like the lamest fucking one they could have chose.
Yeah, that's a poor choice. You had a few options there, and you've gone Brock in the Bank.
Almost sure. I feel like Cole definitely said Beast in the Bank or Graves. Like, come on, that's way better.
Yeah, you have a ready-made nickname there, and you go with that. That's just poor. You might as well have given it to bloody Ali then. You was fucking Ali in the Bank.
Shaking my damn head.
I'm also joined by the IMDb of Wrestling, Nathan Marlow.
Sorry, having some tech issues already. Good start, eh?
I didn't know what you were doing there. I thought you were unscrewing a fucking drink bottle or something.
Hello, friends. How are we?
Yeah. Good, great. Great.
Better than my mic, apparently.
I mean, you're sounding crystal clear, so...
Oh, thank you.
You're a bloody tech whiz. You've done that on the fly, and I didn't realise.
Just turned it off and on and blew into, the ports.
That's a classic one, you just...
Like a Game Boy.
You remove it, put it back in, and then it works, and then people will be like, whoa, you're one of them tech guys.
You're a bloody hacker.
I'll get you to come over next time my laptop's playing up.
Haha, okay.
So, Money in the Bank 2012 dominated the poll this week. Obviously, we had a bit of a Money in the Bank theme in the poll, as the 2019 edition was held today, and you can hear Pricey and Nat's thoughts all about that show on Wrestle Hunks Weekly. But today we are reviewing the 2012 edition. It got 46% of the vote, basically destroyed the competition this week. Had either of you boys seen this pay-per-view before watching it for the show?
I don't think so. I think this is... we're all in high school at this point, so we probably didn't have the day off, so I missed my opportunity to watch it live, so I've never gone back to watch this one either, I don't think.
What about you, Nat?
Yeah, I didn't watch it live, but I have watched this one before. It's not a bad show.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen this one before. I think this was in a period where I was kind of drifted out of keeping up with wrestling every week, because I definitely don't remember watching Cena cash in, which is pretty close around here. So yeah, I think I faded out once Ryback started getting the main event push. I was like, whoa, bring back Skip Sheffield.
He looks like Goldberg. He sucks.
I did get the old Skip Sheffield action figure though. I bought that from Go Figure Collectibles, which was pretty good.
Good purchase.
It was up there. I got a Sheamus and an Elite Evan Bourne as well. That Elite Evan Bourne went well. You really need an Elite for Evan Bourne as well, doing all this flippy stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So the history, build-up and background for this event. It was held on July 15, 2012, and on this day in history, 39 pilgrims are killed in a bus crash in Parasi, Nepal. So Godspeed, you pilgrims. A Russian rocket with an international team launches for a mission to the International Space Station. Fortunately, they don't die in a rocket crash. We've also got Celeste Holm, an American actress who starred in Gentleman's Agreement and All About Eve, dying at 95 years of age. More importantly, Ice Age Continental Drift was the #1 film at the box office, and Payphone by Maroon 5 and featuring Wiz Khalifa was the top song on the chart. So what a pair of just absolutely smash hit pop culture phenomenons there. Ice Age and Payphone by Maroon 5.
Nice.
I mean, if you told me in 2012, hey, that Payphone song's going to be halftime at the Super Bowl, I would say, sounds about right. Maroon 5 are popular. Money in the Bank 2012 was held in the US Airways Center in Phoenix, Arizona. The attendance was 9,000. And the pay-per-view buy rate was 188,000, only slightly down from the year before, which was 195,000 buys. Considering pay-per-views were about to essentially be killed off by the network in roughly a year or so, this isn't too bad of a drop year over year. In 2012, it pulled in fewer buys than the Big Four, No Way Out, Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, and Night of Champions, so it was one of the lesser viewed pay-per-views that year. The previous pay-per-view was held on June 17th and was the 2012 edition of No Way Out. This was also the final ever No Way Out pay-per-view. And so kicking off the show with a dark match is Brodus Clay defeating David Otunga via countout in a match that Dave Meltzer gave -1 star.
Ooh,
which...
that would have been fun.
You're starting the crowd off hot when Big Daddy Dave Meltzer's coming in and giving you -1 star.
Yeah, man. I mean, we can't complain about pre-shows these days. We get like a cruiserweight match or something like this. If this was the standard of the pre-show.
I really hope footage still exists of that. This would have been like the YouTube pre-show era. I hope there's still footage of Brodus Clay beating Otunga by countout.
Oh, I hope so.
Other matches we have is Sheamus defeating Dolph Ziggler to retain the Heavyweight Championship. Santino Marella wrestling Ricardo Rodriguez in a tuxedo match. That also gets -1 star. Christian would retain his Intercontinental Championship over Cody. The Primetime Players would win a number 1 contenders match for the tag titles, which we'll see come into play at this pay-per-view a little bit. Layla would retain her championship over Beth Phoenix. Sin Cara would wrestle Hunico with, I think that was the ending of the great Sin Cara Azul and Sin Cara Negro feud.
It's amazing.
It is, and then Hunico really just evolved into his peak character, which is dude that gets dinked to the ring on a bike. We also have the WWE Championship being defended by CM Punk against Daniel Bryan and Kane, Ryback squashing 2 jobbers, and then Cena wins a steel cage match where if the Big Show was to lose, John Laurinaitis would be fired, and if Cena was to lose, he would be fired. So that's a bit of a mishmash of a pay-per-view there. The feuds heading into Money in the Bank 2012. On the June 25th episode of Raw, Vicky Guerrero would announce that only previous WWE champions may participate in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE Championship contract. The 4 participants announced were Kane, Chris Jericho, Big Show, and John Cena. On the June 29th episode of SmackDown, qualifying matches were held for the Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship contract. In those matches, Damien Sandow defeated Zack Ryder, Tyson Kidd defeated Jack Swagger, Santino Marella and Christian defeated Cody Rhodes and David Otunga in a tag team match, and Tensai defeated Justin Gabriel. On the July 3 Great American Bash edition of SmackDown, Rhodes would defeat Christian and Dolph Ziggler would defeat Alex Riley in 2 additional qualifying matches. The final qualifying match took place on the July 9 episode of Raw, in which Sin Cara defeated Heath Slater. In addition to the Money in the Bank matches, there was a rivalry between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan over Punk's WWE Championship, also involving AJ. So, in Punk's reign as champion, he had successfully defended his title against several contenders and had actually defeated Bryan in several pay-per-views, the last one obviously involving Kane, as I mentioned. At the same time, Bryan's ex-girlfriend AJ had taken a liking towards Punk and Kane, and had also rekindled her interest in Bryan, but Punk and Kane believed that she was unstable due to Bryan breaking up with AJ. Following No Way Out, Bryan defeated Punk and Kane to earn his rematch against Punk at Money in the Bank. Weeks later, AJ was named special guest referee, and right before the pay-per-view began, WWE.com posted that the no disqualification stipulation was added. There was also a Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio feud happening, but Wikipedia didn't think it was important enough to provide me with a recap, so fill in the blanks. Alberto Del Rio made fun of his hair or something, that's why they're feuding. But we move on to the show here, and the number of dead people on the show is 0, which you'd be hoping for a show that took place 7 years ago and doesn't really have any old-ass people in there. Nat's added a special note here that AW's career is dead, which, poor man, he was entertaining. I dug him on this show, and then really, he got fired for one bad comment.
He claims he wasn't fired for that, actually.
What was he fired for then?
I read up on it today. He claims he was fired because the next week he tweeted out in support of Linda McMahon's presidency run. And apparently WWE didn't like that.
Isn't that a good thing, or...?
Yeah, so that's what he says he got fired for.
Honestly, you know what? Maybe if they kept AW around and had him promoting Linda's presidency run, we fucking wouldn't have got Donald Trump as president, we got Linda McMahon.
He could have been the hype man for fucking her.
And then AEW would never happen because Linda McMahon would just go, no, only one wrestling company per country is allowed.
Exactly right.
They would have squashed that bloody AEW and then we would fucking...
They would never squash World Series wrestling.
They wouldn't, because they would see them in Australia and be like, just keep holding your shows in Australia and, well, there'll be no problems. So before the show, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, the current tag team champions, would defeat Camacho and Hunico in a tag team match. And as the show kicks off proper, we see a package recapping various cash-in moments. We then get our first match of the night. We start off strong. It's Dolph Ziggler defeating Christian, Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow, Santino Marella, Sin Cara, Tensai, and Tyson Kidd to win the World Heavyweight Championship contract in a Money in the Bank ladder match. It goes 18 minutes and 27 seconds, and Meltzer gives it 4 stars.
Oh, it's behind him. Ziggler! From out of nowhere! Oh, man. Oh, no. Ziggler's in position to do it. Dolph Ziggler now. Ziggler to the top of the ladder. Everybody's down except Dolph. Oh, he's got his hand where it needs to be. Ziggler's got it. Ziggler's got it. He's going to do it. Dolph Ziggler. Oh, man. 3 times a charm.
So Vicky Guerrero is still with Dolph Ziggler at this point. She introduces him here. Santino is the fucking United States champion at this point in time, which I'd completely forgotten about. Tyson Kidd then comes out with one of the worst shirts I've ever seen, but at least he's got a shirt.
Green.
It just
and he throws into the crowd immediately.
He's like, "Fuck, get this off me." I was impressed though. Like he was getting like actually pushed at this time. He's in the Money in the Bank match. He's got a shirt.
He beat Jack Swagger, so
Yeah,
that was a
that's
pretty
what-
big deal at the time.
When I was there putting together like the notes for this, I was like, "Geez, he beat Jack Swagger, who would like was in and out of the main event picture around this time." So I'm pretty sure is the next year's WrestleMania like Jack Swagger has the World Heavyweight Championship match. So
yeah, 29,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty decent deal to beat Swagger in a qualifying match like that. So Christian comes out and he's the current Intercontinental Champion. The match starts and Christian hits Tensai in the shin with a ladder, which honestly might be the most sickening thing that happens in this match and on the whole pay-per-view. Sin Cara attempts a top rope Spanish fly to Dolph Ziggler and in the process almost ends both of their careers, basically comes far too close to dropping both of them on their heads. Christian misses a frog splash to Tyson Kidd onto a ladder. Santino hits the Cobra on Ziggler. He then attempts to climb the ladder, but he's scared of heights. He hits the Cobra on Sandow before Rhodes knocks him off the ladder with a dropkick. Cody climbs the ladder, but is stopped by Vicky, who also begins climbing the ladder. This allows Dolph to hit the zigzag and climb the ladder, but he's stopped just before he can grab the briefcase by Christian, who also climbs the ladder. Sandow ends up setting another ladder up and climbs up that, and Tyson Kidd hits an insane pole vault sunset flip to Dolph Ziggler off the ladder. Tensai sets a ladder between the apron and the announce table and powerbombs Sin Cara on it. Christian spears Rhodes off the ladder, then Christian almost grabs the briefcase, but Ziggler throws him off the ladder and gets the win himself. What did you guys think of the SmackDown Money in the Bank match?
Well, first thoughts were that it's a bit of an all-star field, this one, with Sin Cara and Tensai and Tyson Kidd, so...
And Sakamoto.
Honestly, they should have fucking named this the NXT Redemption Money in the Bank. Fucking NXT
much.
Redemption alums there.
Just got Matt Bloom out there teaching everybody. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was a pretty good match. You've sort of mentioned a couple of spots that got botched that I was thinking about. The one with Dolph and Sin Cara, like they almost died. I was very scared for them. And then the one with Tensai and Santino as well, which wasn't great, but they put a lot into it, and it was a pretty decent match. I came out of it thinking that Tyson Kidd he's pretty underrated for what he did in the ring. And even in this match, he did some stuff that I don't think I've seen. He climbed like the middle of the ladder. What's that part, the little bridge part of the ladder?
The
I forget what that's called.
yeah, I don't know the official name.
That's like the safety thing, but
Yeah, he like climbed up onto that to climb. It was and then he did like a sunset flip, sort of powerbomb attempt to Dolph from the he springboarded in, and yeah, he did some cool stuff, which was nice to see. But yeah, the match wasn't too bad, but some of those spots that they just missed probably took points off it, I would have thought.
What were your thoughts, Nat?
well, just some basic stuff. Christian's t-shirt sucks too. The periodic table t-shirt that sucked. Probably the biggest thing was they replayed the botch from Sin Cara. I thought that was quite weird.
Yeah.
Like, why bother with that?
It was just so impressive. They had to be like, look at this. These guys almost died in the ring for your entertainment.
I mean, I did laugh. I mean, I won't lie. I just thought, Sin Cara looks alright here, and then started to go a bit haywire for him. He started to hit some horrible moves. Cody also, he looks like a goober in this match, and just think about where he's come and where he is now, and just one more match for Christian. I don't have any real thoughts on this match. It was alright. I think it's overrated 4 stars. I personally found the other ladder match better than this one, just because the names in it.
Well, about halfway through this match with how many botches were happening, I thought, you know what, they should probably rename this the Money in the Botch match due to how many fucking spots are being blown here.
Oh, botch in the bank.
But, overall, even with those botched spots, I thought this was a pretty good match. It does obviously lose a few points due to the blown spots, but I enjoyed it. It's worked at a great pace. And because there are 8 men in the match, it's just non-stop action. There's really no, real down periods where people are just kind of crawling around, trying to slowly set up a ladder, which I think is probably the perfect way to kick off this show. And I think, I don't know, it's a real weird combination of participants, but I think it ends up working well. Tyson Kidd really surprised me with just how many interesting and enjoyable spots he did. His sunset flip thing that he did to Ziggler legit popped me. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I was disappointed though that Sin Cara doesn't wear his penis shirt, doesn't use his trampoline to flip into the ring, and doesn't even have his special lights on throughout the entire match.
I know, it's a completely different Sin Cara.
I know. I'm glad that we moved on to the Hunico Sin Cara, because this Sin Cara just not offering me anything. I wanted to give a shout out to Sakamoto, who was Tensai's manager or something. I'd completely forgotten Sakamoto existed. So
Sakamoto! Yeah.
I think he was an underrated part of the Tensai gimmick. Yeah, as I kind of mentioned a bit earlier, I completely forgot that Christian and Santino even held these mid-card belts. I have no memory of Christian being Intercontinental Champion at this time, or Santino having the US title.
Yeah, kind of forgotten.
They were really high on Santino doing stuff in this period, like having him almost win the Rumble, almost win the Elimination Chamber, having him the mid-card belt. This was the prime of his career.
It's true.
And yeah, just randomly in the middle of the match, I thought to myself, you ever think about how bland of a kayfabe name a Christian is? It's just, might as well call him John or Peter. It's just fucking random ass one name. Oh, Christian. Cool. I just thought about that. It's that's weird, especially considering that his tag team partner was called Edge. It's that's kind of cool. And then he's just, this is my brother Christian.
Yeah, and this is my friend Buddha.
So after the match, we see Josh Matthews interviewing Sheamus. Sheamus tells some dumb story about his dad and cars and that he's going to turn Del Rio into scrap. We then cut back to the ring and we see Justin Roberts announce that The Miz has returned from filming the Marine 3. Miz then inserts himself in the main event due to him being a former WWE champion. We get our next match. It's Sheamus defeating Alberto Del Rio via pinfall to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in 14 minutes and 22 seconds. Meltzer gives it 3 stars.
Oh, baby. Here comes the fans, baby. They're about to come into the ring for Sheamus.
And in unison, they're chanting Brogue for the Brogue kick.
Good night. Good night.
And he folds up to the reality. Sheamus retains the world title.
We get a promo package recapping this feud, and this includes Ricardo Rodriguez dressed up as Sheamus. Del Rio comes out in the world's smallest car. The match starts and Del Rio attempts the cross armbar, but Sheamus counters. Sheamus hits the Irish Curse backbreaker, but Del Rio kicks out. Sheamus misses a brogue kick and gets hung up on the ropes, which allows Del Rio to hit a backstabber. Sheamus hits White Noise and then the brogue kick for the win. After the match, Ricardo jumps on Sheamus, allowing Del Rio to beat him down. Dolph Ziggler's music then hits and he tries to cash in, but Del Rio tries to stop him. This distraction allows Sheamus to hit a brogue kick and escape a potential cash-in. What do you guys think of this match?
Well, surprisingly, a feud between Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus doesn't really do it for me. The match, I mean, it's probably fine. I was bored throughout. Something that sort of that I noticed is just Sheamus is selling, because Del Rio was working his arm the whole match, and then he just didn't. He's pretty much no-sold it towards the end, because he hit that Irish Curse backbreaker, which is literally lifting him up with the one arm that's been worked on and slamming him down. So that kind of, I don't know, that sort of just irritated me a little bit.
Took the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, just come on. He could have been. I mean, to just sell that little spot there, just like to sell that he couldn't get him up at all because his arm was too sore would have been nice. But it is what it is. And I just have here, like, you would think the crowd chanting "broke" would have been a great warning for Alberto Del Rio to avoid the bro kick, but
he had a punctured eardrum.
Oh, right, yeah.
His English isn't good enough. He only knows a little bit of English, so he didn't know what they were chanting.
What are they chanting? Yeah, the match, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I just disinterested and didn't really enjoy this one.
What did you think, Nat?
Yeah, well, I had the same kind of thoughts, because I straight away, my first note I wrote was, I'm already bored of this match, and I haven't even seen it. I know it was going to be a fucking babyface Sheamus. Looks shit. I also noticed in the backstage bit, on the World Heavyweight Championship, the nameplate was fucking terrible.
Yeah. How bad was that?
Just a big old... It was just like they just printed some random text in bold and wrote Sheamus and then sticky taped it on.
Yeah, it didn't even look like it was engraved at all. Like it was just. Like...
it was shitty, and I don't know. That was shit. And then the match had no heat. And I know, you know what? This match was literally white noise.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I thought this was pretty boring, if I'm being honest. I think my biggest takeaway from this match, because it's a very just uneventful match that just ends with Sheamus winning, was that Sheamus used to be pretty fucking over as a face, which when the crowd were going off for him and chanting brogue, I was like, why? What part of Sheamus is appealing to you? He's so boring as this just literally white meat babyface.
Because he's the Great White.
Apparently the crowd loved the Great White. They're like, whoa, give me more of the Great White. Have him be champion for 8 months. Yeah, it really shocked me. I don't know if you caught it on commentary, but apparently Sheamus was mad at Del Rio because he ripped up a comic book or something, which sounds a bit...
Yeah, I heard that at Comic-Con or something. It was like an original Superman one. I was like, no, it fucking wasn't.
Yeah,
it would have been a fucking print or something. You fucking... don't even say it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, Sheamus doesn't like him because that's just an example of Del Rio and his privilege, and he's just disrespectful. I'm like, oh, okay.
Because he can rip up a book.
So, all right, he's well within his fucking rights to do that if he owns it.
I mean, yeah, if you paid for it, exactly.
He can do whatever he wants with it. That's just very, very poor form from Sheamus. Sheamus is the heel, I think. I think we have to address Booker and King just being that fucking stupid on commentary when Ziggler tries to cash in and Sheamus bro kicks him before he can actually cash in, and they're so shocked that Ziggler hasn't lost his contract, even though like the match clearly never starts, and Cole has to explain it to them like 5 times, like, no, the bell never rung, the match didn't happen. They're like, but he cashed in. It's just like, oh wow, this is a good commentary team here. But yeah, that match happened. We then flash back to the pre-show where Josh Matthews interviews Daniel Bryan. Bryan is very mad that CM Punk interfered in his plans to marry AJ. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth then come out in suits to scout the next match. Booker does a very poor Jamaican accent when greeting Kofi, which I don't know if Booker realised that Kofi does not do a Jamaican accent anymore. It hadn't for a long time, but hey, good on him. He's trying, bless his heart. We then get our next match. It is a tag team match between the Clones, Epico and Primo, defeating the Primetime Players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, with their manager, AW. They get the win via pinfall in 7 minutes and 27 seconds, and Meltzer gives it 1 3/4 stars.
Let's wrap this up. Wrap it up. I got stuff to do. Wrap this up, baby. We got all day, every day. Tighten up.
Whoa. Hey, look at this. Hey. He got him.
I mentioned, Abe motherfucking Washington is here with the primetime players. Unfortunately, no Tony Atlas to be seen, but, can't have it all. Yeah, he's just called AW here, and am I the only one that didn't remember that he was called AW?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
When he came out, and it was like AW, and I'm like, what? I don't remember any of this, and I vividly remember Abe Washington. So I was just a little bit of a weird quirk. Rosa Mendez is still kicking around with Primo and Epico. We then flash back to No Way Out, where AW turned on the Colognes to allow the primetime players to become number one contenders for the tag titles. So, in the match, Titus O'Neil gets distracted because AW tells him to dance. Primo then gets a hot tag. He gets a pinning combination on Darren Young and gets the win. After the match, the primetime players talk trash to Kofi and R-Truth, and they end up throwing water in AW's face. What do you guys think of this tag match?
Well, something I'll just bring up quickly before I don't know where I'll bring it up again. So, at the top of the stage, I thought there was 2 ambulances at the top. Turns out those are just armored trucks, which I guess makes more sense for Money in the Bank. But I was trying to think if there was an ambulance match on the card. I was like, what the fuck are there ambulances here for Money in the Bank? But
thought a spontaneous ambulance match might have broken out.
Yeah, you just never know. Maybe because the ladder matches are brutal.
Maybe it was Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan in an ambulance match.
Exactly. So, no, that was crystal clear that those weren't ambulances. For this match, obviously the tag division was on fire back then. I thought Epico, if he wants another run with the belts, he needs to bring the cornrows back. That was doing wonders for him. But overall, the match didn't really do much for me. Yeah, it just seemed like a little match you get on Raw or something. I don't know why the champions weren't on the main card. Didn't really make much sense to me, but it is what it is.
What did you think, Nat?
Rosa, Rosa, Rosa. Oh, yeah. Beautiful Rosa. Right there on the floor is the tag team you're looking for. No, not AW. I thought this match fucking sucked. I pretty much the only saving grace was the fact that AW was in this. Probably a little bit distracting having the mic on him the whole time, kind of like when Leo Rush was doing it. That's probably his inspiration for it, obviously. I just, AW really added to this team, and then as we saw in the later years, when primetime players would come back, they'd probably have a couple good weeks, and then they'd probably be relegated downwards. I think AW really added a nice mouthpiece to the team. I just wanted to give a shout out to the Colognes. Cologne. No, the Colognes Cologne. And I just thought, who are we actually really supposed to be cheering for? Obviously we're supposed to be cheering the Colognes, but, what are they doing that's babyface? Nothing. It's just the AW is a bad man who switched teams to the good team. I don't know. It didn't make any sense. Match was pretty shitty, and I think Meltzer got that one right.
Just speaking of the stage area, Pricey, did you notice that the Titantron was shaped like a briefcase?
Yeah, I was going to make mention of that, but I thought there was too much talking of the stage. But that's something that they should bring. It's just a little subtle change, and it makes a bit of difference. But they just won't veer from the standard stage these days.
And I really enjoyed it. It's like, oh, cool, that's a briefcase. That's something to look at and think about when you've got this fucking glorified Raw segment on a pay-per-view.
Exactly.
It's not terrible, but it's literally just a Raw segment. The number one contender is going up against a babyface team while the champions scout, and then they lose due to some fucking weird circumstance, and then there's a little bit at the end to push the feud forward.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't just have the pay-per-view match. Do they really oh fuck, we need this extra bit of build, so when we finally get Kofi and R-Truth versus the primetime players, the crowd will really love it.
You just got to stretch this feud out as long as possible. It's probably going to Mania, this one.
They're like, fuck, how many more months we got until Mania? Just have them wrestle the Colognes. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's literally something you would see on weekly television. Don't know why it's here. I did enjoy Booker T's shucky ducky quack quack when he saw Rosa coming out. Hopefully Charmel wasn't watching the show when he said that. It might have been the doghouse. I think it's obvious that AEW, having such similar initials to AEW, is going to be facing Hangman Page at Double or Nothing. I think I'll be proven correct with that.
Yeah.
It's his big return to the wrestling industry, the way PCO has returned through Ring of Honor. AEW will return through AEW. Speaking of AEW, I did enjoy when he fixed Darren Young's hair mid-match. That was probably my highlight of this match.
Yeah,
which
that's true.
Says something about the in-ring action. Also, R-Truth on commentary goes, AW, that's a soda, right? And I don't know why, but that made me laugh. But yes, not a whole lot of interest going on here, especially when the soda line from R-Truth, one of the top highlights. There's no fucking around though after this. We go straight into CM Punk defeating Daniel Bryan via pinfall in a special guest referee no disqualification match to retain the WWE Championship. It goes 27 minutes and 45 seconds. Meltzer gives it 4.25 stars.
Be kidding me. CM Punk into the cover, shoulders down, Punk retains.
And we get a promo package that recaps the feud. It's just such a fucking weird feud. Even a promo package I don't think does it justice. After that ends, Matt Striker interviews AJ and she's just her typical crazy self here. Daniel Bryan comes out wearing a homeless man's jacket, and apparently somebody got a text earlier in the day from WWE HQ about this match being no DQ, which is, I'm sure that fucking actually happened, Michael Cole. That's how actual companies make their decisions. So the WWE HQ sent me a text. That actually might have been a prank, because it was supposed to be a singles match, and they've been pranked. Prank caller.
It's supposed to be a Bill Watts, you can't throw your opponent over the top rope or you're disqualified match.
Oh, classic one of those matches, and then Demon
classic
jumps over the top
WCW
rope.
rules.
So, in the match, Daniel Bryan shoves Punk into AJ, which knocks her off the apron. The Doctor then takes her backstage. This is real shades of Booker T at TLC 2011 kind of stuff. Nat, you would have been enjoying that?
Oh, I loved it, you know. I was really shocked because she's never gone through any kind of match before where she could potentially be hurt or injured, but you know that's the thing that sends her backstage. That's all right. I
mean, AJ's never really taken a devastating move like being lightly knocked off the apron before. It's not like she's ever been like champion of her division or anything.
No, definitely not.
So it's just she takes her devastating beatdown and has to go back to be checked out by the doctors. Bryan grabs out a kendo stick, but isn't able to use it effectively on Punk until Punk goes for a springboard, and Bryan uses the kendo stick to hit him in the ribs. Bryan then does the world-famous it kicks. He attempts a diving headbutt, but misses. Punk attempts a GTS, but Bryan escapes. AJ then miraculously comes back out. Don't know how she recovered from falling off the apron. It was a pretty high fall. She grabs out a steel chair and then makes Bryan and CM Punk fight for it. Bryan gets it and uses it. Bryan then does the Miz's it kicks again. Both men keep getting distracted by AJ. Punk goes for the Macho Man elbow but misses and ends up landing on the chair. Bryan locks in the yes lock and uses the kendo stick for extra damage. Punk ends up fighting out of this and hits a GTS but is slow to pin, and Bryan ends up kicking out. Punk sets up a table in the ring. He goes for the elbow again, but Bryan gets up and stops him. Punk then fights back and hits a back suplex through the table for the win. What did you guys think of the WWE Championship match?
I don't think it's a surprise that two of the better in-ring performers of our generation had a good match. That wouldn't be a surprise, but I don't know. I was kind of hoping it was just going to be those two wrestling and having a match. There was a lot of, obviously with the storyline, there was a lot of AJ Lee involved, but the one positive about AJ Lee is her theme song. What a banger that is! And I found it funny in the promo before the match, CM Punk just straight up lying on live television saying he's not going to marry AJ. What a fucking liar! Oh my god,
fucking piece of shit! Just lied straight to us.
I'm never coming back to wrestling as well. Yeah, we'll see how that works
I'm
out,
going to
champ.
sue him. I'm going to put that in a court case.
Yeah, overall, pretty good match. But yeah, overall, probably not as good as I was hoping for. Maybe I had my expectations a little too high. I'm not sure what it was.
What did you think, Nat?
Yeah, it was a good match. Nothing really happened of note, if I'm being honest. Really, it's just a good match. Like two good workers put on a good match, and then I don't know. I think the back suplex through the table didn't really do it for me. The win, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. I would have been more happier if it was like the elbow drop through the table or something. But I literally wrote one note for this match, and it was all I can think about is how AJ Lee called Paige a crumpet in her debut.
Is that the thing?
Yeah, she called her a good little crumpet.
Oh God, I don't remember that at all. That's something. She really.
Did they leave that one out of Fighting With My Family?
I haven't seen Fighting With My Family yet. I've actually.
There we go.
I've got it loaded up on the old hard drive, but I haven't gotten around to it. I haven't been bored enough to be like, you know what? Why not just fucking movie about Paige's life that keeps out the best moments, like her amateur movie career and her doing heaps of drugs with Del Rio.
It's true.
That would have been made for a real interesting movie. You could have had Andrade play Del Rio. It would have been so good. Xavier Woods can play himself.
Brad Pitt could play Buddy, the other bloke.
Brad Maddox.
Brad Maddox. Get Brad Pitt play him.
Similar type guys.
I think it would just be better than Brad Maddox. No one needs to see Brad Maddox ever again.
Well, I'm basically in agreement with you boys. I thought this was a good match, but nothing spectacular. And going into it, I was thinking, why do I never really hear people talk about this match? It's CM Punk, Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship, one-on-one pay-per-view. Surely this is a barn burner that people would constantly bring up. But yeah, actually going and watching the match, you can see why it's not really talked about more. Kind of what you already said, too much AJ involvement for my liking, and I agree, Nat, the finish is fucking dog shit. I was genuinely shocked when he got the 3 count from a back suplex through the table. I was like, what? Why is that the finish?
Very anticlimactic.
I don't know why they didn't have another false finish and then Punk hits the GTS. It just, I don't know, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. What did make a whole lot of sense is that we get a fucking mention of Tout during this match, which...
Tout it out.
Whew, I was at full chub when they mentioned that 4-letter word. And we're actually gonna get a little bit more Tout later on, so...
Can't wait.
Also, shout out to CM Punk for shoving a security guard in the crowd when he jumps up onto the barricade. Good on you, Punk. He deserved to get shoved.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it's when he kind of goes to the timekeeper area and he does a clothesline to Bryan. Yeah, this security guard's kind of in his way, so he shoves him. I don't know. All right then, you could have asked him politely. But yeah, that's the WWE Championship match. It's solid, but nothing spectacular. After that match, we get a "Do Not Try This at Home" video. We then get probably match of the night. It's Ryback defeating Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex via pinfall in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So fucking blaze it up, Ryback. And Nat, I assume that you've added the 5 stars into that?
Oh, yeah, because Dave Meltzer, I think he gave it a wrong rating. He gave it 1 star. So I added what the rating should have been.
Honestly, I agree. 4 minutes and 20 seconds of hard-hitting action.
No, that's the bloody RVD seconds of hard-hitting action, mate.
This actually isn't a match. It's just 4 minutes and 20 seconds of these 3 boys just blazing it up in the ring.
Oh, I agree.
And he's setting Tyler Rex up as he marches around the ring for what he calls shell-shocked. And that's what Rex is going to be right there.
Baby. That's it.
Ryback impressive again.
So Ryback comes out and he has an instrumental theme here, which sucks. Give me the version that has him chanting "Feed Me More" in it any day of the week. Hawkins and Rex basically beat Ryback down for like 3 to 3.5 minutes until Ryback hulks up, hits his goofy ass marching shell shock, and gets the win. What do you guys think of this match?
I personally didn't think Ryback looked very good here. Not like how he took all the... he took all the beat down for most of the match, but just in ring-wise, I just thought he looked kind of sloppy, and I don't know, I don't really remember watching Ryback wrestle, so maybe that's just him in general, but the match obviously is a squash match, so it's not much to it. The only thing that I have here is that I was kind of disappointed that Hawkins and Rex weren't using their stripper gimmick, which is kind of disappointing for me.
Was that when they actually got the tag team name of the Gate Crashers?
No, did they have a tag team name? I didn't know that.
Gatekeepers.
Well, it's the Gate something, and I spent like the whole match just thinking like, what were they called? And I kept thinking the Dude Busters. I'm like, no, that's Trent and Karen Croft.
Yeah, no, I've no idea, but they were the strippers for like male strippers for like a week or two, so that's good stuff.
They do look like a couple of dick dancers. Oh, what did you think, Nat?
Well, it was fun to see all the Goldberg chants that Ryback received, and just wanted to say Tyler Rex losing like this is it just seemed very unrealistic for me. Didn't do it for me. Tyler Rex is a fucking huge dude. I forgot how big he actually was. So I just said he's just a jacked up Juice Robinson. I'm surprised they didn't give him the hippie save the world gimmick. Just not giving a shout out to Conversations with the Big Guy because it sucks. And also I thought this goes for too long for what it really is. It's a squash match. It goes for too long. So I don't know. What do you think of it, Brando?
It's a squash match. It happened.
Is it?
Put Ryback over, and Ryback would get a WWE title shot at some point, and then he'd drop CM Punk bad, and CM Punk would be unhappy about it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say here. I think Kurt Hawkins, though, should bring back his cool baton that he comes out with here. I think that's the one piece that's missing from the Hawkins and Ryder kind of revival tag team that's going on right now. His cool baton that he can twirl around.
Yeah, nice.
Like you mentioned about the Goldberg chants, I thought that was kind of cool. You know, I bet the crowds thought they were really clever chanting Goldberg at Ryback. They really got him. They owned him.
Oh, no. They pwned him, bro.
And just a little fun fact, Michael Cole was really just absolutely fucking gushing over how good Ryback is at working out. And he mentions that Ryback jumps rope 2,000 times per day.
Fuck off, he does.
So it's really to keep up, you know, like the agility. I hope he does some of the cool like crisscross moves and stuff that...
Punk's never done cardio in his life.
I don't know. He looks in pretty good shape in this match. 4 minutes and 20 seconds of just, you know, go.
He only did something for a minute.
Yeah, but what a minute it was. But yeah, this is it's a match that happened. I've done some research on Tyler Rex, and it appears after his career ended with the August 14th, 2012 SmackDown taping, he had one indie match and that's it. In 2014 as well, he tagged with Kurt Hawkins against Kevin Matthews and Lance Archer.
Nice.
So that's a pretty good one. Also, his final match, it was Hawkins and Rex defeating Unknown Male Wrestler and Unknown Male Wrestler. So, if you know who those Unknown Male Wrestlers are, write to me. I really need to know. So after that match, we get an ad for motherfucking Tout. It was the original Vine. You could interact with WWE superstars and could get on Raw. Bring it back.
That's what we're missing.
Honestly, if they want more people to tune in live to Raw and SmackDown, bring back Tout. I would be like, fuck work. I'm gonna bring up Raw right now. I'm gonna tout something out and see if I get to be on there live. Like, I could just, like, jump in and be like, my favourite Raw moment was when Miz cashed in. And they'll play that, and Michael Cole will be like, tout it out. I can't believe it, like, went down the tubes.
Yeah. I could just be like, oh, my favourite Raw moment was when Mojo Rawley re-debuted with weird face paint.
And they'll play that when like Mojo Rawley's making his entrance.
Yeah.
Fill a bit of time, fill a bit of air.
Perfect.
But yeah, you know, WWE, they were pretty early adopters of Twitter, and that kind of worked out for them. That really took off in popularity, but unfortunately, you know, lightning couldn't strike twice with tout. So after we get our little tout break, we get Caitlin, Layla, and Tamina Snuka defeating Beth Phoenix, Eve Torres, and Natalya via pinfall in a 6-woman tag team match. It goes 3 minutes and 23 seconds, so less than the squash match, and it gets 1 star.
Oh, man. Wow. And Layla going to take advantage.
That's it.
Oh, man, is that it? Layla, Caitlin, and Tamina pick up the victory.
Layla is the Divas champion here, and just holy fuck, Caitlin's theme is complete dog shit. Eve Torres' theme is still a banger though, so shout out to Eve, crump your little heart out. All 6 of the women have a cat fight at one point, and then Tamina ends up hitting a super kick on Beth, allowing Layla to hit her I need to find a boy neckbreaker. What did you guys think of this match?
Is that actually what it's called? Or?
No, well, I got a note here. Layla's theme lyrics go, I'm insatiable, I can't get enough, need to find a boy. Which,
No,
I don't know,
that's good.
I don't know about you, but lyrics like that really get me in the mood for some wrestling. So I decided to name whatever the fuck her finisher is after that great line.
That's very, very interesting. My first thought was, I mean, I actually genuinely laughed when I saw Tamina was on the babyface team. Like, I'm not getting behind this team at all. Sorry, champ. The match, I mean, you have there 3 minutes, 23, and there's 6 of them. There was some sloppy spots, and they all didn't really get a chance to do much. They all had to try and get their shit in there in the 3 minutes, and that probably worked against them. But I thought Layla actually impressed me more than I was expecting. I don't recall ever watching a Layla match, but good on her. That's probably why she's got the strap. She's just the bloody workhorse of that group. So the match, yeah, there's not much to say. It was just kind of short and not a lot happened.
What did you think, Nat?
Well, I had a lot of notes on this match, probably more notes than how long goes for. So let's just start off. Layla's song sucks. Caitlin's song sucks. Tamina's song sucks. Beth Phoenix song sucks. Natalya's song sucks. Eve's song is a bop. And she's also a snack. Yum. Did anyone notice Layla felt up Tamina's ass before the match?
I did, actually, yeah. I didn't make note of it.
She looked straight at the camera. That was weird. Tamina looks so much better here than she does now.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
She actually looks smooth in the ring. Like, not amazing, but she looks better than she does now. It was Slap City from Caitlin, and then match finished, but there was also a nice Layla springboard crossbody, which was pretty cool, I guess. And then the match ended. Bless their little hearts.
Yeah, I have one sentence on my thoughts on the quality of this match, and it's just that this would be a good time to take a whiz if you're at the pay-per-view or you're watching at home, you know, on main event. You know, run to the toilet, maybe get a Tim Tam from the pantry. But yeah,
Double coat.
Not
Double
a good.
coat.
Yeah, I'll definitely double coat. Maybe get a chocolate Yogo.
Oh, now we're talking.
But yeah, this match is no good. Although I do think that Tamina gal will go on to great things in the future. Can't wait to see how her future career pans out. I think she's got a lot of titles in the picture for her.
Oh yeah, she'll have great merch as well.
Yeah, I think at least one person will buy her merch. I'll predict that right now. So, bit of a hard left here. Natalya's gear, I actually like it. It's a nice little shade of pink here. That's about the nicest thing I can say for Natalya. I think she should bring this gear back. Unfortunately, Beth Phoenix, she looks like she's wearing a wig and her lipstick is bad here, so... Bow, Beth. No, not a good one from you, and you've killed Percy Watson's career, so fuck you. I also made note that Tamina is the only person in this match that has never won a Divas or Women's Championship, so I'm going to start petitioning the WWE to give her a belt just so that everybody in this match could be a champion.
No, the fuck you're not.
And I just wanted to mention that King really does sound like he's crushing his hog on commentary. He's real horny for all 6 of the women here. He doesn't discriminate, whether you're Layla or you're fucking Tamina or you're Beth Phoenix. Just if you've got a vagina, King's gonna be real horny. Unless you're Molly Holly and then apparently you're a grotesque, fat, obese woman. That's just the one lady that we've covered an event on and that King just didn't seem to like. But with that match out of the way, we've come to the main event, which means it's also time for Nat's Trivia.
Oh, well, speaking of me, it's now time for Bobby's Nat's Chenside Tamina Time Trivia. Woo! We're back again. Trivia score. Pricey, you're on 14. Brandon, you're on 12.
Ugh.
Having fun. Pricey can kick back for a couple of weeks. Brandon, he's got some hard work to do. But before we get into this week's trivia is now sponsored by 7-Eleven Coffee. And that's because I'm a cheap bastard. So that's all I can afford. Alrighty. So we've been training, boys. Have we trained? It's been a weird week in wrestling. I mean, our favourite Ashley Massaro passed away. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Gone to the big wrestling ring in the sky.
Don't think we haven't had a chance. We haven't had a podcast since that, so it's pretty sad. Condolences to her and her family. So we're ready, boys. Question 1.
Let's go.
Well, how many title reigns does Charlotte have?
9.
8?
Correct.
Oh, I was thinking it was 8. Fuck.
Bang.
Fucking 9. Jesus Christ. They're gonna give her 16, aren't they?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
How many reigns with the belt does Sasha have?
5,
She
I
has-
think.
At least 5.
Oh, Jesus.
She's not being booked correctly though. She's gonna have to leave.
She bloody living her best life in bloody Mexicana or wherever. Question 2. This is the last pay-per-view match for which superstar?
Tyler X.
Correct.
Good grab.
It helps that I looked up his career mid-podcast.
Yeah, but do you see in the Discord, he did beat Seth Rollins.
And to be fair, at Over the Limit 2012, he was involved in the People Power Battle Royal that Christian won.
I don't think that counts.
How does that not count?
Not in my segment, at least.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. You would have been wrong then.
I'll take the point if you want.
Yeah.
Wait,
All right, question 3. You would have been wrong, mate. I'll take the points off you if you want.
that is wrong.
Yeah, you dumb shit.
Could I just point out as well that something else that's wrong? On the NXT Redemption taping number 58 on April 7th, 2012, Tyler X defeated Kurt Hawkins in a loser gets fired match. They proceeded to tag with each other for the next 6 months. What was the point of that stipulation?
No, because he was like, I don't want you to be fired.
And they were tagging together. Why were they having that match?
Jesus.
Oh, it's bloody...
All right. Question 3. How many superstars made their pay-per-view debut?
3. I'm going to say they're probably like all women and maybe Tyson Kidd.
Correct. 3.
Bang, bang.
Bang.
Bang,
bang. I will give you to them. They are Tensai, Caitlyn, and Damian Sandow.
Just like I said, 3 women.
Is this really Sandal's first pay-per-view?
I mean, yeah, this is 25. Next year he wins the Money in the
The
Bank.
Royal Rumble. Man, Aaron Reigns winning the Royal Rumble.
Royal in the Bank.
That's pretty impressive, though. His first pay-per-view using the ladder match.
Yeah, it's pretty good rub, I'd say. So question 4. What was Caitlyn's last match in WWE?
Ooh.
It's in the Mae Young Classic, but I don't know what it is. Is that good enough?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Did she wrestle in the Mae Young Classic?
Yeah.
Did she wrestle that real old lady that wrestled in the Mae Young Classic?
I'll give you a hint. She's currently in NXT, but she was also in the Mae Young Classic.
I'm going to say Casey Catanzaro.
Incorrect.
Is she in NXT?
Yeah, Kat Nazaro's in NXT.
Oh, I thought you meant Caitlyn. Fuck. Okay, never mind. You meant her opponent was in it. Okay. Wait. Rhea Ripley.
Incorrect. It's Mia Yim.
Ah, sure.
Yeah. That was going to be my second option.
Sure, she got a win in the first round against someone Davari, but not
Davari.
not the two men Davaris.
No, there's too many Davaris. They're like the Loney brothers.
I thought you were going to go with like something like the Von Erichs, but the Loney Brothers works better.
Oh, okay. Question 5. AJ Lee's last singles match was against which Bella?
Nikki?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably 50-50. I was
Apples or oranges?
Could it be against Crazy Bella?
I was gonna say the brother that's on Total Divas with him sometimes.
Jeff.
Yeah.
It was against John Laurinaitis.
Well, here's a pretty relevant question coming up. What was CM Punk's last Raw match?
Probably against Kane. Was that Kane?
Incorrect. Give you a hint. AEW.
Oh, Abe Washington.
Against Cody?
Incorrect. It's Billy Gunn. I don't know why Billy Gunn
That's
faxed on
right.
that
I knew
weird.
that. I heard about. I remember someone tweeting about that. That's funny.
It is. It is very weird. So, question 7, the score lies at Brandon on 3, Brody on 1, but you can chill because he's still got a good lead.
That's it. Just put the cue on the rack. Take the stars out.
Well, can you tell me how long did it take Daniel Bryan to lose the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania?
8 seconds.
18 seconds.
It was 18.
I mean, 18.
I said 8.
I said 18.
Did you say 18?
I did. Well, it's up to you if you trust me.
I'll trust you, but I'll have to put in slow-mo in the editing room.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. Question 8. You guys might be shocked by the first bit, but besides Hornswoggle, which superstar never held a world championship but had a relationship with AJ Lee?
Big E?
Incorrect.
Oh, this is... I can't think of anyone other than Kane, Punk, and Bryan.
I don't think you get it at all.
It's like an NXT thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can give you a hint. It was her pro.
Oh, who was her pro?
You don't even remember it.
I'm going to say John Morrison.
No, it was a primo.
Jeez. She
What?
lucked out.
I don't know, but she also had one with Hornswoggle, so...
I was more confused by the Hornswoggle bit. I'm like, Hornswoggle had a relationship with her?
Yeah.
Oh, the two Raw GMs hooking up. That makes sense.
Alright, so question 9. Who defeated Punk for the belt?
The Rock.
Brody by a bee's hair and a dick.
Eee.
Alright, this is the game. Oh, hello. This is for the game. This is for the game. This is for the game. 3-all. Brandon 3, Brody 3. Actually didn't rig this one for once. So I feel like Brody might get this one right. He might not want to, but Brandon, you're a good chance too. So I feel like this is where we want to be in trivia. Question 10. Are we ready, boys?
Yeah, ready to go.
Wow. Enthusiasm, boys.
Game 7, let's go.
All right. Who were your 2012 NBA champions?
The Miami Heat.
Bang. Oh, Pricey was a bit sad there. Oh.
You just have to...
Uh-oh.
Mike Bibby.
I knew who it was, just didn't want to say it. You know, it kind of hurts.
Uh-oh. Well, that brings the trivia to an end. Brandon, you've taken it out. You've got a little bit of room back. It's Pricey on 14. Brandon, you're on 13 now. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can come up with next week.
Oh, probably another W.
Just another W. That's how confident you are.
I don't mind losing, but losing on a Thunder question like that just
Hurts a little bit.
Salt in the wounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was also salt in the wounds. LeBron winning the championship that year.
Oh, I think you were saying Sakamoto throwing salt.
That core of Harden, Ibaka, Westbrook, Durant, they'll win a championship eventually, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, Ibaka will eventually win an MVP one day.
MVP of having a huge hog.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have a big fucking hog.
Real Bobby Lashley type guy, isn't he?
All right, well, that brings an end to trivia.
Good one. That was a good one, Matt. Appreciate that.
Next point.
Well, with another top installment of Nat's trivia done and dusted, we move on to the main event, which is John Cena defeating Kane, Chris Jericho, The Big Show, and The Miz to win the WWE Championship contract in a Money in the Bank ladder match. It goes 20 minutes and 3 seconds. Meltzer gives it 3 3/4 stars.
Here's Cena! Oh, Cena using the briefcase to block the punch! Now using the briefcase as a weapon! John Cena won it! John Cena won it! John Cena wins Money in the Bank! Wow!
So Kane comes out with his dipshit helmet. Chris Jericho has his dipshit sparkle jacket. Miz has a pretty cool jacket. Eli Foot on Tout says that Miz cashing in was his favourite Raw moment. So, man, how did Tout not take off? Eli Foot. I don't know how Raw survives without people like Eli chiming in. So Big Show has his snuggly beanie on as he comes out, and Cena has a green shirt. The match starts, and Jericho hits a code breaker on the Big Show, and Cena then puts him through the Spanish announce table via an AA. Kane and Miz then start burying him with ladders. Jericho locks Miz in a lion tamer. Miz and Jericho double suplex Kane onto a ladder. Cena hits a double 5-knuckle shuffle to Miz and Jericho. He then AAs Kane onto Miz, who's on a ladder. Big Show rises from the dead. Big Show now has a vendetta against ladders, apparently, and makes it his mission to be mean to all of the ladders in the match. He then brings out his special big boy ladder to hold his big ass. Show KO punches Miz and Jericho off the ladder. Cena then grabs the briefcase and uses it to hit the Big Show, and accidentally snaps off the handle in the process to get the win. What did you guys think of the main event?
Yeah, another good ladder match. So it was pretty solid. I have here there's slightly bigger names in this match than the opener.
What, are you saying fucking Tensai isn't as big a name as John Cena?
Oh no, just slightly underneath him. Obviously in Japan he's the John Cena over there. Yeah, I obviously made mention of the big ladder because that makes sense. He's big, so he needs a big ladder. That's perfect. And I enjoy the finish. That's not something I don't think I've ever seen. Is the thing snapping that holds the briefcase and or title, which is pretty cool. And Cena's pretty strong, obviously, so that makes sense. Yeah, but the match was solid. 5 pretty talented guys, so you can't go wrong.
What did you think, Nat?
I enjoyed this way more than the other match, just purely on name value alone. It helps when you have some big names in there. You just get immediately invested. Yeah, I forgot how bad Kane's welder mask was. There was no build up to him taking that thing off. They did it, and then they cut the camera away, and then it was off. So, oh shit, they wouldn't do that to Undertaker with his fucking hat. With his bloody hat gimmick thing. I liked how they threw all the ladders on the Big Show, and then he rose from the dead. And I immediately started laughing and knew you guys would hate the big boy ladder spot. But fuck, did Big Show sell that it was heavy though? Fucking hell. He took at least 5 minutes to get that big old thing in the ring. So spots I enjoyed through the match. There was the Miz getting chopped in midair by the Big Show. That was pretty fucking loud. The connection was on point and perfect. The AA through the table, once again, that was a pretty cool spot. I always love the AA because I like to suck John Cena's cock. And did anyone notice there was a part in the match, kind of near the end-ish, there was a very small ladder boy in the ring. It was probably the size of John Cena, and Big Show was using it to hit Cena. Anyone notice that one?
No,
it's very small.
The top of my head.
It's very small, boy.
Is that all of your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. It was a good way to end the night, I guess. But I don't know. The finish was kind of weird, snapping off the handle. I mean, it's not really accidental, but cool.
Well, I did some research on the finish, and I think, as far as I can tell, it's a botch. Cena wasn't supposed to grab the briefcase at that point. He was supposed to, hit the Big Show, have the Big Show fall down, and then grab the briefcase, as far as I can tell. I don't think, Meltzer or anybody ever actually properly reported on what the deal was with that, so it's kind of not really clear. But I think obviously Cena was supposed to win. But I kind of like the finish. I don't know, it's weird. And shout out to Cena not even being phased by like it breaking off. Like he goes straight into celebrating, so it just makes it
this
natural.
is where we get that iconic photo of him smiling.
Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to the whole pay-per-view. I'm like, I can't wait to see that.
Well, if you looked on IMDb beforehand, you would have had the main event spoiled for you. It's the DVD cover, and the DVD cover is John Cena with the briefcase on the ladder.
Is it really?
If you go on IMDb right now, that's the DVD cover. I've seen it before. It's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, I'd always
It should be the Del Rio poster.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'd always hate when they would do things like that for the DVDs, like especially when we were kids and like, well, it was a pay-per-view from 2003. I have no fucking idea who's winning this pay-per-view. Like, don't put the winners on the cover.
Yeah.
I just did a search for that cover, and it's also come up with Night of Champions 2012, which also shows CM Punk on the cover celebrating his win. So they're having a rough time in 2012. Just like, spoil all our pay-per-views. It doesn't even matter. Just fucking give away the results. So my thoughts on the match, I thought it was fun from start to finish. I didn't think it was quite as good as the other ladder match, but I think it was still a great way to cap off the night. I think it could have done with adding in maybe one more entrant into the match, which could have, like, I don't know, give it a little bit of an extra dynamic, and probably could have pushed it to being even better than the SmackDown ladder match. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, when you've got that much talent in the match, you probably can't go wrong. I did enjoy them burying the Big Show, and I got a kick out of the big ladder. I always enjoy when the Big Show grabs out his big weapons. I want to know why the Big Show never got a comically large set of stairs for his stairs match with Big Red. Like, you can imagine that he just got a really big set of stairs, and then he just, I don't know, choke slams him on it or something.
Just like a big old staircase, like, fuck, just like rip him off like the arena steps.
Did Big Show ever have like a big table?
No, I don't think so.
He had a big chair, but I don't know if he had.
I don't think there was a big table.
Yeah, a Google search for big table doesn't come up with much. It does come up with the time Cody Rhodes beat Big Show in that tables match by him accidentally stepping on the table. That's actually a classic finish. Fuck, the more we go through these pay-per-views, the more I realise that I like the Big Show more than I realise. My only other note I have here is that I just want to try and get me one of them ironclad contracts, baby.
Pardon?
Just want to try and get me one of them ironclad contracts, like the Big Show.
Yeah, it's just a long contract with a big boy money.
Ironclad, you can do whatever you want and you won't get fired. You can fucking kick someone in the head and throw them through a table and then get your big ladder out, and it's all good. So any final thoughts on the main event before we move on?
No, I think we covered it all.
Well, I've got to ask you boys, what did you think was the best match of Money in the Bank 2012?
That's a good question. Probably, actually, I reckon the championship, the WWE Championship. I'm going to go with that. I think both ladder matches are right up there as well, but I miss old Punker and his wife, so I'm going to go with that one.
What did you think, Nat?
Yeah, it would have to be Punk and Bryan. I mean, it was a great wrestling match. I mean, if I'm going entertainment-wise, I'm probably going to choose one of the ladder matches, but wrestling-wise, it was definitely Punk Bryan by a country mile.
Well, obviously, I'm going to go with Ryback and Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex. That was the best match of the night.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
It was a Broadway. You can't go wrong with Kurt Hawkins, and Tyler Rex was there too. I think I want to go with the SmackDown Money in the Bank match. I think that was probably the one I enjoyed the most. I think I would have definitely gone the WWE Championship match if it had a better finish. If it had a better finish, it probably would have been the clear-cut favourite for me. But yeah, with that, I'd say probably the SmackDown main event, the ladder match, Money in the Bank, is top for me. And then the WWE Championship and the Raw Money in the Bank are probably on equal footing, and then the rest of the matches are just, there somewhere. What did you boys think was the worst match of the night?
That's a good question. I'll actually go with the right back match there. I thought the women, there was 6 of them. They didn't have they have like 3 minutes. These guys had time, but it's a squash and it just didn't make sense. It was just a shambles. So I'll go with that one.
What did you think, Nat?
I'm going to say the 6-woman tag match. Just not much happening in that. Didn't get much time, and the wrestling there was in it wasn't great.
Oh, you're a hater.
Yeah, I am.
Now, look, might be predictable, but I'm going the women's match as well. It's not a good match. Got some not great wrestlers in there, and then Beth Phoenix looked like she's wearing a wig, so that really ticked me off. But I need to give a special shout out to the Colognes and Primetime players, just because it's just a straight up Raw segment. You wasted my time with a Raw segment on this pay-per-view, which, it didn't even need to be there. So, it's a contender just based on being kind of out of place on a pay-per-view. But what are our final thoughts on Money in the Bank 2012 as a whole?
Well, how many? There were 6 matches, right? It might have been 7.
I think it's 7, yeah.
I forgot about the tag match for good reason. Yeah, pretty good. Like the ladder matches and the WWE title were good. The world title was serviceable, but there's other filler matches is probably where it got let down, I suppose. But I guess average if you sort of grade them all and average it out. So just a standard pay-per-view.
What did you think, Nat?
Yeah, it was an alright pay-per-view. I think the little matches in the middle, since you tied up your Intercontinental Champion and United States Champion in a ladder match, it didn't leave for much filler in the middle of the show like any other kind of matches. So I think that holds the pay-per-view as a whole back. But, it's not a bad show, and I think you could definitely go back and watch this one.
Yeah, I think this is a solid pay-per-view. It's not great. It's, kind of middle of the road. The 3 marquee matches are really good, but then everything else is just not really notable whatsoever. They don't ever get really completely terrible, those matches, but every time one of them would come on, I'd just be like, fuck, can we get to the good stuff? It's not the worst. It's only, the pay-per-views back then were only 2 3/4 hours, so, it's not like you're fucking sitting through 4 hours and most of it's shit, so, it's not the worst pay-per-view we've ever covered. Probably not the best either, but yeah, just somewhere in the middle. So we move on to the aftermath of this event. On the July 23, 2012 episode of Raw, which was Raw 1000, John Cena cashed in his Money in the Bank on CM Punk by having a singles match with him, becoming only the second wrestler at the time, RVD being the first, to announce his intention to cash in prior to actually doing so. Cena won the match via DQ, thus not winning the title after the Big Show interfered. This made John Cena the first of 4 wrestlers to officially cash in the contract and not win the championship, the others being Damien Sandow in October 2013, Baron Corbin in August 2017, and Braun Strowman in September 2018. Meanwhile, Dolph Ziggler would attempt various times to cash in the contract following Money in the Bank, including 4 times on SmackDown against Sheamus and The Big Show, and on 2 episodes of Raw attempting to cash in and being thwarted by John Cena and Ricardo Rodriguez. Ziggler would defend the briefcase twice on the August 20th episode of Raw to Chris Jericho, and then at TLC to Cena in a ladder match. Ziggler finally cashed in his contract, defeating Alberto Del Rio on April 8th, 2013 on Raw, after Del Rio had been attacked by Jack Swagger. The feud between Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio would continue into SummerSlam, where Sheamus beat Del Rio. After Sheamus attacked Ricardo Rodriguez, Del Rio would seek out David Otunga to ban the Brogue Kick. The ban was then lifted at Night of Champions, where Sheamus won yet again. Also at Raw 1000, Punk would turn heel after attacking The Rock, who was helping John Cena fend off The Big Show. At SummerSlam, Punk would defend the WWE Championship against Cena and The Big Show in a triple threat match, and at Night of Champions, he would defend it against Cena, where the match ended in a draw. Punk would continue to defend the WWE Championship into the 2013 Royal Rumble, where, despite interference from The Shield, The Rock would defeat him. So that does us for this episode. Thanks for listening to the Wrestle Hunks podcast. You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestle Hunks Pod. I'm on Twitter as @SourceMarlow. Pricey is on Twitter as @EvilBrodyPrice. And Nat is on Twitter as @NathMarlow. You can also find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all good podcast services, and feel free to give us a rating. We've now come to the time of the podcast where we each suggest something for us to cover for next week's episode that gets put up into a Twitter poll. And this week I've decided to put in the debut episode of Velocity, because in the next week it's going to be the anniversary. It's going to be 17 years, I believe, since Velocity first graced our screens. So I thought I'd throw that up in there. And while it's not on the WWE Network, it is available in full on YouTube. So unlike that time Thunder fucked us up, we'd actually be able to cover this if it gets picked. I think actually though Thunder is up on the network now, I think, or it's going up soon. So
yeah, they announced it. Yeah,
fucking good one, you ding dongs. You could have done it like a month earlier. But Pricey, what are you putting into the poll?
With a little bit of a Las Vegas theme for Double or Nothing next week, I've gone with Vengeance 2005, which was held in Las Vegas. Just looking here, there's six matches on the card, but the one show that was it says it's on Sunday Night Heat, so it might be possible for us to watch it, but it was the Hurricane and Rosie with Super Stacy defeating the Heartthrobs. So
wow,
that's nice for the World Tag Team titles as well. So that's pretty interesting. But the matches on here are Carlito and Shelton Benjamin for the IC title, Victoria versus Christy Hemme, Kane versus Edge, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, which might be a decent match. John Cena versus Chris Jericho and Christian in a triple threat for the WWE title, and then the main event is Batista and Triple H in a Hell in a Cell for the world title. So
good match.
We'll see how it goes.
Nat loved that match so much that he had a gigantic poster of it on the wall.
I respect that. It was huge.
That you got from Crash Magazine.
I did. I had to get 2 issues to get the whole thing.
Nice.
Because 1 week only came with Batista and
and the ref.
Earl Hebner or Mike Chioda.
Nice.
And the other little bit had Triple H.
And there was
they had to get both. The other way, you just got one or the other.
And there was an Asian dude sitting front row that was like very prominent in that. So you just had that dude on your wall for a long time.
You could have stopped after 1 week if you had Batista and Earl Hebner. That's the 2 stars of the show.
So Nat, what are you putting into the poll?
Well, I'm going for the WWF Invasion from 2001. And obviously relevant because we have Double or Nothing coming up in the next week. So I thought we'd put this in because the buy rate is the highest grossing non-WrestleMania pay-per-view in WWE history.
Always thinking outside the box. You are?
We get some great matches such as Earl Hebner versus Nick Patrick. There's some alright matches. They're not amazing. They tried to fit a lot on the card. There's very short matches, and then the main event goes for half an hour.
Is this the one with the ladder match with Jeff and Van Dam?
Yes.
Is it a ladder match or is it just...
No, it's a hardcore match.
A hardcore match, is it?
Sorry.
Okay, that sounds good either way.
Dumb decision to make RVD be in a throwaway match like that instead of being the main event.
But we do get a Trish leader, Tori Wilson, Stacey Keibler, bra and panties match, and that's what we're here for, boys.
Well, speaking of bra and panties matches, just want to point out, debut episode of Velocity, main event is Trish Stratus versus Stacey Keibler in a bra and panties match for the Women's Championship.
I'm there.
Oh.
They were taking that shit seriously, you know, like when they'd fucking... When SmackDown debuts on Fox, they'll go all out, and that's kind of like what they did for Velocity here. They're like, who's our biggest stars? Duh, obviously Stacey and Trish. What's our best match type? Bra and panties. Fucking bang, main event.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure... fuck, I forgot the name. What's the name of that the Japanese dude? The Mist? Tajiri.
Sakimoto.
He's on the card too. Sakamoto's on the card too.
Oh, it's lit.
So the wild card I've thrown up is an episode of WCW Thunder that took place May 25, 1998. So
I watched this the other day.
Did you actually?
Yeah. I said it last podcast that I went back and watched how the Wolfpack came to be. It was kind of weird.
Well, yeah. This episode is where the Wolfpack theme debuted on Thunder, so they're really, really pushing that show in 1998.
And a week later after that, Sting is in the NWO. So
you've really done your Wolfpack research.
Yeah, I think this episode is when Luger is in it.
I believe so. I've seen like a little clip from it on YouTube, and it has fucking Lex Luger's hot dog face marching out.
Well, at least these ones are on the network.
Yeah, just put everything on the network, WWE. Put the fucking North Korea WCW show on as well. That had 100,000 people there.
Cowards.
I don't care if North Korea kill people and shit. Fucking give me my entertainment. But yeah, so that's 4 fucking random as fuck options, but I'm sure Invasion will win. People are going to see Invasion and be like, oh, that's a thing I remember. So congrats on your win, Nat.
Thank you. Have you guys actually watched it though?
I have seen Invasion, yeah. When I was rewatching like all the early 2000 pay-per-views, I watched Invasion and I'm like, well, that happened. But yes, I just really want Velocity to get up. I want to watch some Velocity.
You can watch in your own time, mate.
That ruins the whole element of watching it for the first time on the podcast.
I'll make a new podcast, Watching Velocity.
I'll know that, watching Velocity. And just...
Oh, no, voicing Velocity.
Oh, nice.
That would be a good podcast idea, except the network doesn't have any Velocity, so I have to just go through YouTube and they're like, this week we had to skip 4 months of Velocity because they're not on YouTube, but now we're in 2004. Randy Orton's wrestling someone. But yes, that basically does us for this week. You boys got any final words before we sign off?
No, you said it before. Wrestle Hunks Weekly. We've got it's all happening. Double or Nothing and Money in the Bank, and Mick Foley's got a new belt for us. So there's plenty to talk about. So Nathan will say things, and then I'll say things. So listen to that one.
That's true.
What about you, Nat?
Yeah, how can you top that? Well, hopefully it's the hardcore belt. So that'll be interesting to see because there was plenty of there's a lot of blood in recent weeks on WWE TV. So see what happens.
Well, that's all for this week. Make sure you listen to my new podcast, Voicing Velocity, coming to podcast services in the recent future. Hopefully, if the WWE put the Velocity episodes on the network. But in the meantime, while you wait in anticipation for Velocity to go on the network, stay hunky.